please welcome the incredible Brittany Ford.
Hello. I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some awesome, juicy nuggets to help these listeners feel better.
Yeah, we are for sure.
And
Definitely
live longer.
Live longer, feel good, mentally, physically, all the things.
Emotionally. Yeah, I mean, this is just like, this is the antidote for anything, ladies. This is it. This is the episode. We're going to make you feel like you're 25 again in the next 45 minutes.
Yes. Get out your pen and paper. I'm going to give you some hot tips.
Yeah, only 3 easy payments of $1 million. You got this. We're fine.
No big deal.
So, who are you, Miss Ford?
Yeah. Who am I? I am a mother, first of all, is the first thing that comes to mind. A new mom, I guess. I have a 14-month-old son who is currently napping down the hallway. And so right before this, I was breastfeeding, and then here I am. And we do a lot of context switching in this house where I go between running my business, being a mom, being a wife, back to the business all day long, every day. And I am a holistic nutritionist, podcaster, content creator, and have been in the biohacking space for maybe a decade now or so. And yeah, I have really just been obsessed with natural health since my own health issues when I was a kid. So yeah.
What got you into biohacking? Was there a person, a conversation?
Yeah. There actually was a person, and I don't want to be so lame about it, but it actually was Dave Asprey, who is like the low-key father of biohacking.
Yes.
But I heard him on a podcast once, and I was studying nutrition at the time, and I very much felt like nutrition was one pillar to be optimized, but I wanted to look at everything. Like I wanted to look at sleep and longevity and aging and energy and our menstrual cycles and all of these other things. And then when I started learning about biohacking, it really just encompassed all of that. And it was like, hey, let's actually look at your entire life and everything that you do. And let's see how we can make small tweaks that actually can help you be healthier. And so that's when I was like, yep, this is it. This is what I want to do and talk about. And now it's kind of moving into this space of like longevity and functional medicine even, which is really cool to see. And the field is definitely evolving.
I love longevity. I read the book by, is it called Longevity by Dr. What's his name?
Mark Hyman, or which one?
No. I think he's Canadian too. Maybe not.
Okay.
I don't know, but it was really intriguing.
Yes.
Because we think of like living a longer life just to say, oh, we've lived to 100, but maybe 50 years of that was just crap because you don't feel well. But then there's like this health span. Yes. And the health span is now like the thing that people are talking about. It's like, if you're going to live to 100, make it the best years. Mm-hmm. Why are we just living to 100 to say we live to 100? Right? Or 180 as you say. I honestly feel like maybe we'll be part bionic at some point in our lives.
Yeah. I mean, really, what's the point in even living that old or that long if we're not actually feeling great mentally, physically, spiritually, right? So I think the whole discussion now is we have so much data on, the boomers and the other populations that have come before us. And it's like, we don't want to spend the last third of our life limited, right? Physically, mobility, anything like that. And so the question becomes, what can you do today, regardless of what age you are, in order to kind of like offset that coming? And there's so much that you can do, and there's so much data behind it. And it's not necessarily just like cool supplements or like the latest tech. Like some of that stuff works, but honestly, a lot of the time, the things that make the biggest difference with longevity are actually easy and free. We just don't do them because we don't prioritize them. And also, they're not like the sexiest things to sell, right? So if I'm like going to recommend to you, hey, take a morning walk, that's not really cool. But if I'm like, hey, get this red light therapy device and it's going to do all these things, then you're like, oh my gosh, let me buy it, right? So sign me up. Where do I get it? Yeah. So I like to say the best biohacks in life are free. And I think that is applicable for longevity and expanding our health span as well.
So let's back up a little bit. We hear the buzzword biohacking. What does it really mean?
Yeah, people have different definitions for it. I like to say it is holistic self-care for optimal health. And that's kind of what I was just referring to is like, if we break that down, holistic self-care encompasses sleep and energy and hormones and nutrition and exercise, things like that. And then the goal is like this idea of optimal health. But I think I'm actually going to change my definition, to be honest, because I think optimal health is not necessarily a destination that we can reach. It's almost something that we can feel, and we're almost always working towards it. Do you know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I don't know if I even like that definition anymore. I think it's time that I actually work on it now that I'm saying it out loud again.
I love that because I always say personal development isn't a weekend course. It's a lifelong commitment.
Totally.
Because people think I'm just going to get better at this one thing. I don't have to do anything again. It's kind of like I go to the gym once a week and I'm good for the week.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that. Or if it's like the joke is if you shower 7 times in one day, you don't have to shower for the rest of the week. It just doesn't work like that. It does not work like that.
Yeah.
So I always thought as biohacking was like the shortcut, like the quick hit, the quick fix to like get the energy, get rid of the brain fog.
Yeah.
So it's really it gets misunderstood.
Yeah.
Right. And another hacking is like the nerdy hacking, right? Like the coders and the developers, and they're hacking the way to like get to something faster and have less code, but produce more. And maybe it is misunderstood because I see it as what are the things that your body needs to do to feel the best it can possibly feel? And it could be as simple as that sunlight in your eyes in the morning, right? These are the easy things that you don't want to talk about, or the walks. They say, what's the culture that has the longest health span? Is it the Japanese?
There's different blue zone areas around the world that have been studied. I think there is one in Japan. There's one in Costa Rica, which I've been to. And they've been studied. It's so interesting. People have different takes on this, but they've been studied and looked at health span and some of the things that they found for why are they living so long are, again, things that are actually pretty simple. One of them actually being community. Like these are people who, you know how that saying is like, it takes a village.
Yeah.
They actually practice that, which I don't know what your experience has been like having kids. I have not experienced that in Canada here of this idea of a village, but you go to places like that and it really is like Sunday communal dinners and like they all go to church and they all hang out afterwards. And there's just way more friendship and even love between them. And that is one of the things that people have hypothesized is like why these people are living so much longer is they just have more friendship and people around them than I think we do now in our society, especially with like being online and social media and these things that actually isolate us.
I think of like, I always say this, and we actually just finished talking about all these things on the last episode, is like bring back the village. And where in our society did we go wrong in assuming it is the woman's job to raise her children? Like, why is it all on them? If you look back like thousands of years ago, there were the villages. It's like when a woman had a baby, it was the village's baby. Now everyone was responsible for that kid's well-being. And now it's like, well, here, Mama, Brittany, you're going to go run a business. You're going to become known in your industry and you're going to raise this kid and maintain your household. Oh, and then maybe take care of yourself.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
It is wrong. And it's put on, there's so many like thoughts that come up when you talk about this. I think it's easy to associate it because women carry the babies and then you breastfeed. I think that's the obvious association that we see. And I do think there is a movement towards men becoming more hands-on and being a hands-on father. And I've spoken to my husband about this, even how he can kind of feel a bit more pressure to do that from his side and understand, like go to the music class and be at every doctor's appointment and do these things that his dad might not have done. But at the end of the day, like the woman is still the primary caregiver. And whenever there's a glitch in the matrix or as like a kid is sick or something, everything stops. At least in my experience, everything I do stops and I have to take care of my kid and my husband keeps working, right? So there's a lot to unpack there. And I don't know. I don't really know what the solution is probably great communication between you and your partner, I guess.
There's that. But I actually, this morning on the way into the studio, I saw a man walking down the street holding what looked like a 2-year-old daughter, and they were walking. And then I unconsciously just skimmed the sidewalk for the mother. And I was like, oh, he's not with the mother. And it got me thinking, how often do you ever see a dad without the partner there? It's very rare. It's very rare.
Yeah. Yeah. The societal norms and expectations are crazy. Like when we fly with my baby, if I walk up and down the aisle on the plane with him in the carrier, like I don't really get like looked at too much, or maybe they look at the baby a little bit. But if my husband does it, it's like, wow,
man of the year.
Good, you're such a good dad. Like random strangers saying that to him. I'm like, okay, great.
You should stand up and make a speech. They have nowhere to go. They have to listen to you. You'd be like, break out your notebook. Okay, ladies, here we go. I'm going to tell you about how it's, and coming back to this whole biohacking thing, this is all part of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It really is, because even when if we rewind and we were first started talking about fertility, and I did all of these things to optimize fertility, and it was wonderful. And we got pregnant on the first try. Yes. And there's so much to say there. But it very much felt like my job to handle fertility, where my husband was helpful, and he did the 90-day detox with me, and he got his sperm tested, and like we optimized his health so that he could create the healthiest sperm so we could have a healthy baby. However, it still was like I was managing it, right?
You were owning the outcome. Yeah.
Yes. And so I think for women, and we talk about like this mental load, I think it even starts before you have your baby, is like when you're tracking your menstrual cycle and you're like, oh, I want to get pregnant. It's like your mental load is starting that day.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe even before that, because now you're like, conception is up to you. And I'm ovulating. Okay, we need to have sex in these few days. Okay. Like that's when it starts, right?
It's the pressure's on you. The pressure's on you to track, to like have all the apps and to know when your body temperature's up. And the man, some of them that are with it feel useless. They understand what we're going through. And they're like, what do I do? It's like, there's really not much they can do in those moments because but the respect and the appreciation, I get it. And then afterwards, when the baby comes out, holy moly.
How was your postpartum experience? I want to hear.
So my boys are 11 months apart. Wow. And so it was one big experience.
Wow.
So for my first baby, I had complete disassociation. I had severe depression. I didn't want him. It was just like this massive dump of hormones and emotions. And I didn't know how to navigate it because I was also running a business. I was literally answering emails and phone calls after he was born. I had a team of 12 clients from all over the world.
Wow.
And then I found out I was pregnant with Noah the day I got back to my pre-pregnancy weight. And Max was like maybe 4 months old. And I did not want to be pregnant again. And at the time I had two really, really close friends, like very close friends that were having fertility issues. So they were the last people I could tell that I was pregnant again because I didn't want to make them jealous or upset them or anything. So I finally did. But so fascinating because my experience with Noah was so different. Like the moment they put him on me after he was born, it was like instant connection. And I don't know what it is. And so that's been easy. That was easy. But like physically, everything was almost way too perfect to be true. So it's kind of like, if it's this good, what can go wrong? Yeah. So it was just the emotional labor, the emotional everything for me that was really, really tough. Yeah. Like we're talking eating like crap, not working out, not sleeping, cranky, brain fog. Like, when you're in this perpetual state of like, we'll call it chronic fatigue and headache, that it becomes so normal. You don't even know how it like good feels like.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
That was my life for 2 years.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's hard.
There was, and you know what? This was only like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And the support nowadays for this is uncanny because it took women like you coming in and being like, wait a second here. These women need the support. They need to learn the facts about what a thriving mother and entrepreneur can be.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I also have a podcast. And when I was pregnant, I recorded these episodes, one per trimester. And they were called The Reality of Trimester 1, The Reality of Trimester 2 and 3, whatever. And I haven't listened to them since. And those are my most downloaded episodes still. And my birth story, because they were so unhinged, unedited. And I was like, I feel like all of these things, like here are all my emotions. And the amount of women who still DM me today being like, I have never felt so seen and so heard as I did in that episode when you talked about gaining weight and never gaining weight before and what that felt like and how you felt shame for saying these things out loud and like really complex topics that you can't really talk about in a lot of places, especially on the internet, because you can get criticized and all these other things. So I think it's so interesting that, yeah, you went through such a interesting experience, especially on the day that you found out you were pregnant with your second was the day that you actually got back to your body weight. Like, how did you navigate that?
Well, I remember because I was like self-diagnosed postpartum depression, but also like talk about being gaslit by your doctor because women having babies is natural because men can't. So then all of the conditions that come postpartum, they just are what they are. So just deal with them. So I didn't have that support because I didn't know how I was supposed to feel or look emotionally, physically. I just didn't know. And I mean, it was definitely the best my boobs have ever looked. That was a bonus. Perky and big. And now they're deflated, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But so what happens is I wasn't eating. My default when I'm depressed or overwhelmed, I don't eat. And guess what happens when you don't eat? It's really hard to breastfeed.
Yeah.
Painful. And the shame. And I would just lie about it. But people didn't know that I wasn't anymore after like 2-3 months.
Wow.
And then I remember the day I was like, wait a second. My doctor told me I should be experiencing possibly my period again. This should be like normalized at this point. And I didn't get it. And I was like, oh my God, I know this feeling right now. This is very weird. Dan, can you please go get 18 pregnancy tests at the pharmacy? We got to make sure this is factual that I'm pregnant if this is the case. Sure enough, get on the scale that morning. I look down and I was pre-pregnancy weight. And then I look up at Dan and I'm like, I think I'm pregnant. One time.
Wow. What a moment.
Turns out you're most fertile right after having a baby. So anyway, we welcomed very healthy but early little Noah. He came about a month early.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was perfectly healthy. There's like no issues. He's like, I got to be here. I got to be an Irish twin to my brother. So let's go. Yeah. But, and you know, in that time, I read the book, What to Expect When Expecting. Probably the stupidest thing because really the whole focus is on your baby's the size of a prune this month. And this week, yes, it's a watermelon. Woohoo! Yay!
Funny.
Yeah, but it's definitely taught me a lot about the importance of taking care of yourself. And I can't say I have any regrets, but I will say this, hands down, especially for the women that are entrepreneurs running businesses, is that rest, that bonding time with your babies, especially in those first 2 years, so pivotal in the development of them as humans.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah. I mean, it goes so quickly, right? Like the days feel long, but you turn around and you look at them one day and they're like 14 months or they're 7 years old and you're like, wow, okay. How did this happen?
What happened? Yeah. My 13-year-old's like 5'8" and he's got an 11.5 men's shoe. And I'm like, dude is as tall as me almost. You're
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay. Well, let's turn these tables on you and the work that you do, because I have some juicy questions for you.
Yeah.
And you're talking about burnout too.
Yeah.
Like I know that if I had women like you in my life doing this work back then, things would be different. But I can't change that. They are what they are. But I think it just puts a spotlight on what you are doing. And especially in this world of biohacking, there's a lot of talk about burnout.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes hand in hand with like biohacking. Hey, let's do these things for optimal health. But for the women that are running businesses, maybe they're mothers, maybe they're not, and they're navigating burnout. They're just overwhelmed. They can't sleep. They get hot flashes like me. What do you know to be some of the first signs that their bodies are calling for a different approach in life?
Oh, I've been there. Yeah, there's a few. I think something that I experience and I see other women experiencing is the real struggle to be able to calm down and chill. I remember when I went through this pretty badly, and even before I had my kid, I went camping for the weekend and we were off grid camping. And I couldn't like just come down to earth. Like my heart rate was high. I was just like anxious, and I just like wasn't able to actually like step out of the fight or flight mode. And I think for the women listening, if you feel like the moment you wake up in the morning and open your eyes until you go to bed, if you're just in this like go, 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 you know, you have anxiety in your stomach, you're like trying to drink water, but you're not, or you're going to the bathroom and you're working on your phone while you're in the bathroom, like those types of things.
Guilty.
Yeah. Yes. Those types of things is like, you're going to burn out if you're not there already. And if you struggle to kind of get back into that rest and digest place, that is a really, really bad sign. And so what this means long term is that it will lead to much more serious health conditions. So stress over time, which we could call burnout, compounds into issues like autoimmune issues, gut health issues, hormonal issues. And that can play out in fertility for sure, but can also play out in perimenopause and how you go through menopause. How severe is it for you? How severe are your symptoms? So it's not just like that day, oh, I'm feeling rushed all day, I can't like turn it down a notch. It's like if you're doing that day in and day out, you're not setting yourself up for a healthy life and definitely not promoting longevity at the same time.
Okay, so fun fact about my hot flashes, which I will talk about all this stuff openly. There was a time in my life that I was experiencing these symptoms. So if anybody understands how hot flashes work, is they're just random. They're not night sweats, although they do come at night too. And it's just like your body gets really heated from the inside out. It's weird. It's like in the chest and it kind of moves up through the neck to your face. I get it where I feel so hot that I get nauseous and I want to pass out.
Wow.
When I looked at the patterns of when this showed up in my life, the first time it happened was the summer we'd moved across the country. So this was back in 2020, which that summer, which was crazy because we first came out to Kelowna for 6 months and we were deciding to move out here 10 days in. We're like, let's move. So we're listing our house on the East Coast, having not even prepared it, having random people come through our house, get rid of stuff, stage it, take pictures and sell it. And we sold it. But we had to like rush back to the East Coast in July to pack it up. And then we rented a cottage on the ocean and we were going to stay there for a couple months before our place was available here in Kelowna. And I remember going through the motions, like when I was in it, it was like every day it was just like this and that and like kids' school and finding a doctor in BC and all this stuff and running my business. Sitting at the computer one day, I started sweating and I was like, what is this? And I thought I was getting the flu. And it got so bad over the course of weeks, my whole body would just like heat up. And it went away. When we were finally settled here on the East Coast, it went away. And I forgot about it. And then it happened again this past spring, This was prior to my first big event for the Pink Skirt Project. We were having over 300 women come out. It was like first big scary thing that I'd done in a while. Cool. And the symptoms showed up again. Mm-hmm. And I ignored them, and I ignored the need for that pause and that rest. And then the event happened and it went swimmingly. And then the symptoms went away again. And they're started up again because in less than 2 weeks, we're jumping on a plane and we're traveling the world, homeschooling our kids while also running our businesses. So these symptoms, like, you know, we talk about signs that people are overwhelmed, could present as like perimenopause, but it might not be. And so I'm learning all of this and realizing that the things that you say are like free, right? Biohacking is actually not that sexy. Sunlight in the eyes first thing in the morning, maybe a handful of really important supplements, those walks in nature it's the reset. It's like your whole nervous system goes, And I know when I'm in this like fight or flight or survival mode, when I hold my breath.
Yep.
I'll be sitting at my computer working and all of a sudden I'm like, I was like, where'd that come from? Because I was holding my breath. And it's just simple. It's the awareness. But like right now I'm going through that time.
Yeah.
Of how that happens.
You know what's so interesting is that I really do think that everybody knows deep down, right? Like I can help people and I give them tips and advice and inspire people, but deep down, you know why your body is reacting in the way that it is. Like I just spoke to a client yesterday. She's been having rashes. And I talked to her and she's explaining the rashes. And typically when I talk to clients, it's like, we talk about the easy stuff, right? Like these are the symptoms. This is how it's showing up and that type of thing. And then we kind of get into it a bit more in her personal life. And then she starts talking about her job and how unhappy she is and how she doesn't feel like she's getting paid enough. And then we talk about, hey, when did this rash start showing up? And she, you know, I just let her talk because she realizes like, oh, this is actually so internal. And intuitively, I know that I need to be doing something differently in my life. And my body is trying to give me signals that I am not living aligned. Like I am out of alignment. And so for you, like it's very obvious that your body is reacting because you probably just have too much on your plate. Yeah. So I wonder what it would look like if you were to, I don't know how big your team is, but outsource more, like hire a personal assistant, whatever it needs to be, so that like you have time to like go to the spa tomorrow.
So here's the interesting thing is I have all the help.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of women that can relate to this. It is literally, I allow myself to sit in the worry, the mental load. Here's an example of one story of many that comes up. Okay. So we leave on September 22nd and we're not back till early January. And in that time, we go through 3 seasons of the places that we're going to. We go fall in Europe, then we go to the Maldives, Southeast Asia, Australia, which is hot summertime. And then we end our trip in Japan where we're hitting up the mountains to go skiing and snowboarding. How we pack for that is like one thing. But beside that, my 13-year-old is growing so fast that even if I was to be as prepared as possible with all the snowboarding gear here to have someone ship it to us in Japan, he would have outgrown it. And so the story continues that my 5'8", probably 5'9", 13-year-old son showing up in Japan to go find ski gear when everyone's really short, he's going to be out of luck. So you see how I just like... Yeah. It's the overwhelm of the mental load because I feel the need to think through these things to prepare for those moments.
Right.
And the craziest thing in all of this is that money is not an issue. It's not that we can't afford this stuff. We can. Yeah. So my question for you then is what are some tools and techniques that I can just stop overthinking this BS?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my challenge to you would actually be like, what if you just went with it? You guys have all of the resources available to you. And so obviously you can pack, you know, a base wardrobe, let's say, for the kids. But everything you've done in your life so far has worked out. And life has never given you too much that you haven't been able to handle. So why are you questioning your ability right now to be able to handle this upcoming season for you and your family? I think there's like deeper things that might need to come out because you are very capable. Clearly, you are very capable. So why don't you think you're capable of handling this or of being resourceful enough to find your kids' ski gear when you're in Japan? If anyone could do it, I feel like it would be you.
I know. It's so stupid. Even if I have to sew on a couple extra inches on a pair of snow pants, it can make it work. And here's the thing is, well, I know that there's a reason why, but I don't know what that is right now. And that's just like one of many things. But I think that's like, the overwhelm comes in the form of those stories, right? And then your body is just tense.
Yeah.
Like the tension is in my neck and my back that I have to go to the chiropractor to release that tension because I'm holding on to all these thoughts, which is that overload, the mental overload of overthinking and worrying about these things. And even though I might hydrate, eat well, work out, follow all the things, check off all the boxes, I'm still not sleeping the best at night.
Yeah.
And I'm still like chronically in this like place of fight or flight.
Yeah.
Even though the most beautiful opportunity is ahead of us.
Yeah.
This is so common with high functioning women.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like anytime that we're being stretched in any capacity, the mind can just run. And I love that you talked about the basics, hydration, nutrition, exercise, sleep, those things. I think something really helpful in this space is meditating and journaling. And I know how that sounds. I get it. People are like, roll their eyes when they hear that. But I will tell you that I never meditated until I had my kid because I thought, why? What's the point? But now on the days when I don't take 5 minutes to sit and just like sit in front of a candle, seriously, sit in front of a candle, I put like a sound bath playlist on Spotify for 5 minutes. And I just sit there and I'm like, okay. And then I just do some breath work and I just like bring the nervous system down. I feel infinitely better. Like I go from like feeling like a 6 to a 10. And so I wonder if you could actually bring in moments like that, even for 5 minutes.
100%.
Even if you're driving to pick up your kids from school, wherever you can kind of fit that in of like, let me just take a moment to listen to some really calm music or journal or whatever that might look like. The one thing I will say about journaling is like, it actually doesn't need to look how we think it traditionally needs to look. So one of the things that I recommend to clients is like, if you're going for a walk with your dog, just do voice notes on your phone. And like keep a note and just start getting all of your feelings out. Even everything that you just told me, like how would it feel if you went for a walk for 30 minutes and just recorded all of that and got all the mental load out of your brain and onto a note on your phone?
It's, and then if you decide to listen to it again, it just sounds so silly.
Yeah.
Like Renee, of all the things you could worry about, I mean, here's the thing is my son and my husband's renewal passport hasn't even arrived yet. And I'm not even worried about that. I'm worried about Max's ski suit.
Yeah. You know what's so funny is like in a year from now, you are going to laugh at the fact that you are worrying about a ski suit.
I know.
Right.
I think it's more than that. I know it goes deeper and I don't know what it is. My spiritual therapist, reminded me of tapping. Of tapping. And there's like 2 big triggers in my life right now that really I'm working on. And I've only actually been doing this exercise for like 2 days. And then when I'm reminded of these triggers, because we put a name to these triggers.
Nice.
One of them is Lucy, that I actually just start tapping, but it's not light taps. Like they're almost like pounding on your chest and like tapping up and down your arm and on your temple. And what it does is it just actually like brings you back into your body. And it's very grounding. But the journaling thing, I did Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way. Have you done that before?
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's like a 3-month program, essentially, where you have to do 3 pages of conscious stream of thought first thing in the morning. And you just write just bleh on paper. It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
And then you have to, like, she tells you that you're an artist and you have to go on artist dates, whatever that is. But to go by yourself and just be with yourself, because most people are very uncomfortable doing that. And I should go back to that. So like, sometimes I'm sitting here thinking, well, Brittany, what is like the best supplement to take? Like, how many liters of water should I drink? And am I putting salt in those waters? Like, tell me, what's the solution to this? And you're right. It's so simple.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so simple, but it's so hard to put into practice when we're faced with life in general and obstacles and kids and all of these hard things that we might not know how to navigate or might not have support for, right? So it's fun to talk about the really cool, innovative things. But again, I think there's something so important about coming back to nature and how we were actually designed to live. And we weren't designed to be in fight or flight all day. You know, like you weren't designed to like worry about ski suits. You weren't. You were designed to be like a mom who's present with her kids and is having a good time and who's running this like boss ass business and is super successful. And that's what you were designed to do, right? So, yeah.
Another question for you is, what rituals or routines help you return to yourself when entrepreneurship or motherhood feel at odds?
Yeah. So kind of just what I was saying, I have this little space in my office. I don't want to say it's a shrine, but like kind of looks like a shrine a little bit, but it's got crystals and it's got candles and a mirror. And I just try to get there. And honestly, I don't get there every single day. Like, I want to be so real with you. I don't, but I try to get there sometime in the morning to sit with myself. I do the 5-minute gratitude journal, which has been great for me because it's 5 minutes and I can spend 5 minutes on it. And then I do some sort of meditation, either with like the Calm app or by myself or music or things like that. And that is like the biggest anchoring thing for my day. And what I've learned is, before I became a mom, it was like, okay, 6 a.m. routine. I'm going to do all these things, 7 a.m. gym, 8:30 smoothie, whatever. Now it's like sometime before noon, I will get to my corner of my office. And you know what? It actually doesn't matter the time because it does the same thing. It really does. Like, I feel great no matter when I get there. And sometimes it's later and sometimes it's earlier, but it's simply the practice and the ritual of it that grounds me.
So the Aura Ring, which I love, has in the app, they have meditations.
Yeah.
And my son, Noah, who's 12, he goes through these like seasons where he can go to bed easily and other times where he can't. And he's in that can't season because it's transition into homeschooling has been a little bit hard on him. And I think he's really worried about getting on a plane and traveling the world. So he can't fall asleep well, and he certainly can't sleep through the night. So I open up this meditation app, and there's this woman, her voice is just so calming every single time we put it on. It's a 7-minute meditation. Within the first 2 minutes, him and I are both out, like drooling. Drooling. And it could just be now. It's like the association is mom's in bed with me, her voice, safe, let's go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm out too. But I get it. And it's like, I remember we had our spiritual therapist. We flew her here from Vancouver, so not very far. We've been working with her for years now. And she did a family, I called for this. I go, we need to do a 2-day family spiritual retreat, the four of us, before we leave and travel the world together. Because there's some crap that we've got to like face within and amongst each other. And she had us the end of, or the middle of the first day, sit in a circle and did a sound bath. And because we've all worked with her before, we felt very safe. This was in our own home. And I will say it was absolutely, for my nervous system, the most relaxed I have been in such a long time. And when she said, we'll do this for like 45 minutes, my kids were like, oh, and they were squirming and it's so long. And all I could think about is like all the emails I got to get back to. And when I just kind of like melted into the floor, like my heart rate just went down. I had no hot flashes in the whole time that I was there.
Yeah.
And it's a gentle reminder that biohacking can be very simple. Very
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess the question from that is like, how can you bring that feeling and that practice into your life more often, right? Without needing the 45-minute sound bath.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Well, I'll figure that out. I'll let you know.
Yeah. But I think it is about like making the habits and the rituals that are anchoring like that, right? Just like you're talking about the crystal with your podcast is like, what if you had some sort of object even that you used or held when you feel that fight or flight? That was like the reminder of like, okay, let me come back to my body. Let me relax. Let me calm and like get into more of a rest and digest space.
Yeah,
You know?
so that's interesting because rest and digest I knew of this term has
Mhm.
been in my orbit now more so in the last probably 2 weeks than ever before. And it's like it's constant everywhere. The
Really?
irony is that I've always had poor digestion,
Yeah.
always. And even the other day when I was like working out, I was looking down at my legs and I'm like, I could see extra cellulite. And I go, where the heck did this come from? Because I'm not going to attribute it to perimenopause. And I just looked up at Stephanie, my spiritual therapist, and I go, oh, this is because there's something trapped in me, right? It's
Ooh.
like your body will hold on to tension, to fluid, to
Yeah.
fat until you can actually be the person to release it. So when I looked down at that cellulite, I'm like, oh God, that was the sign. That was that sign of like, I got to do the work. I got to do the
Yeah.
work. And then I started naming the triggers and I'm like, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever read the book, The Body Keeps the Score?
I have, but I don't
Yeah.
remember it because I think I read it out of pressure to read it and not to actually comprehend it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, fair.
Okay.
We all do that. But it's kind of just like what you're talking about of like our traumas, whether big trauma or small consecutive traumas over time, really does get trapped into the body and shows up in different ways, right? And so I think there's something so important about looking at the hardships that we've been through, processing the emotions with them, and then letting them go. And it's great that you're doing that with your spiritual therapist and with your family, I think is, whew, that's incredible. That's huge.
Okay. And when you say letting go, like what does that explain that?
Mm-hmm. Explain that. I think so for myself, I went through an interesting postpartum period where me and my husband, we were transitioning to like being parents and it was difficult and it was rocky. And I didn't realize that I had resentment towards him. I've actually never spoken about this, but I didn't realize that I had resentment towards him. And it wasn't resentment in the way of like, oh, I have to do all this and you get to do that. It was more, I started like writing it out and I was actually using ChatGPT a lot. And I said to AI and I said, help me identify how I'm feeling. Like, why do I feel like this towards my husband? And it said like, your resentment is actually a reflection because he gets to go work uninterrupted, guilt-free, and he has more freedom than you do. And me, as an entrepreneur, I love my freedom. And then you have a baby, and then there goes your freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when I work, I'm like leaving to go breastfeed, or I'm like thinking about what's happening in the home while I'm working. And then sometimes when I work, I have all this guilt. Anyway, so I was able to actually uncover these deeper layers of feelings that I had towards him. And then when I say letting it go, is that came from doing the deeper work, naming it, claiming it, and then actually saying it to my husband. Being like, okay, the last 13 months, I had no idea that I was feeling this way towards you. I think it was showing up through irritation, but deep down, this is what I was feeling. And so we've had multiple conversations, and let me tell you, like it's gone.
Yeah.
And that's because I did the work to go deeper and deeper, claim it, say it out loud. And like the moment you say it out loud, it loses its power, right? It's no
so
longer
true. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kept throwing. So I understand this world of resentment with husbands too. And I kept saying like, I feel like you're gaslighting me. He's like, what does that even mean? And like, I try to define it, and then I'm like, I couldn't. So I would let it go. But it was this resentment. And I was like, why does he get to get up at 6 a.m. and go wake surfing with his team when I'm at home with the kids and like doing the dog and doing everything? Yeah. Even though I said, babe, you go do it. So he's like, I got permission to go and do this. But I'm still holding this resentment. So finally, properly defined the word gaslight to him and amongst other examples. And he's like, oh, I see this now. I understand. Yeah. Because we talk about, we never blame or shame. And we never say, oh, you're allowed to have those feelings, because you have a feeling. It's not like you need permission to have a feeling. Resentment is, I think, the number one thing that affects relationships, because we're too afraid to say how we feel. Yeah. Because we think we have to justify it. We can feel how we feel without having any justification. It is what it is. Now it's a matter of figuring out why. Why you feel that way. And it stays in your body.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard, right? Because those conversations are really uncomfortable and they're really ugly. Like they are. Like they're not fun. They're really hard. Like there's been a lot of tears and a lot of like, yeah, like this is a really new emotion. This is a new thing that I feel towards you. What do I do with this? And so if you don't express it and let it out, like imagine what that would do to you over years. Like,
I know.
And then we look at things like all of the marriages around us that aren't doing well and how many people are divorcing and things like that. And it's like, that's one aspect of it. But if we bring it back to health, it's like, okay, so you're going to just trap this like really heavy negative energy in your body and these thoughts, and then you feel like you can't speak them out loud. You think that's not going to have an impact on your health? That's just very delusional thinking, right? So I think there's something to be said about, like, if we talk about biohacking, is like, you have to do the deeper work in order to actually heal, I guess. In order to actually reach optimal health or kind of stay there, is like you actually have to do the sticky work that you might not want to do.
Yeah. And I think maybe the surface level understanding of biohacking, like a lot of people, it's like supplements and like ashwagandha and maybe putting like oils in your coffee comes after all this stuff. This is like the cherry on the top, but the work, and we talk about the work too. Most people don't understand what that is even. And the work is really going up to like big T, small t trauma, and just looking at it and being like, let's go, baby. We are working through this. Because on the other side of it is healing, but the healing isn't just for you. So when people understand that the healing and trauma is for the next generation, for your son, for my son, and for their children too, when we see the bigger picture of it and how it affects communities, like my friend Courtney, who went through life never having any big issues, was ashamed of the fact that her life seemed so beautiful. And we were going around dinner table the other night talking about the expansion that we all want to achieve this year. And she started to cry. She's like, I don't know. I just feel so guilty because my life just seems so beautiful. And it's like, it's not that she was never faced with anything that were hard on her. I said, you just happen to be the most healed soul at this table that you can actually face these challenges and not make it a big deal. It's not that she has less healing to do, but her soul was healed because they did the work for the generation. That's what we got to do.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I mean, I think almost like the healthiest people in the world are the people who are willing to do the work. And the most successful people in the world are the people who are willing to do the work. And I think
it never ends.
And it never ends. Oh, yeah. Dang it. Yeah.
I know it never ends.
I thought I was thrilled and I thought I was successful, but
well, the thing is, it never ends because you have to become a different version of yourself at every new stage, right? Like your baby's just over 1, but wait until he's 5, wait until he's 16, and your business matures and your marriage matures. It requires a different version of you. Yeah. And in that different version requires different levels of healing. And like those, you'll face similar traumas and now you'll be like, poof, no big deal. And then the fright train comes from the other way. You're like, whoa, now what?
But I do think that life doesn't throw you anything more than you are capable of handling.
Exactly.
Like, I do try to remind myself of that, of like, I can do this. I've done hard things before, you know?
We can do hard things.
Yeah. I mean, of course we can do hard things. I think all women can do hard things. Oh, men too. I mean, we're not hating on men in this episode. Absolutely not. But
oh no, they just don't know. They just don't know what they don't know yet. But we know. We know what they don't know.
Yeah. I just think like women and mothers are just incredible. Like it's really something just how much women juggle on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And like hold the capacity for it.
Yeah.
Right? Like at the end of the day, my husband has a hard day at work and I'm like, okay, let me sit down and hear about it. Mm-hmm. I would rather watch reality TV, but I'm going to listen to you because I care about you. Do you know what I mean? Like, wow, I still have more capacity. Who knew?
Yeah. Or like when your eyes are crossing, you're like, I don't have space for this. We have that in our household. We have that where we're like, you don't have the capacity for that. You don't have the energy for it. It's okay to say not now.
Yeah.
And I say, I don't have the capacity for that right now. They get it. You know, we walk away from and come back to them.
Yeah.
Okay. We could continue talking forever, but I'm sure that we have other things to do. So I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
When I ask you what it means to be a wild woman, what is that for you?
Oh my gosh. A wild woman. Ooh. I like picture a woman in the wild with her babies like hanging off her hips. That's like what I visualize. A wild woman. Wow. I feel like a woman who is truly standing in her truth and in her power and not feeling like she has to meet the expectations of anyone else around her, but just herself.
Isn't that the dream?
Mm-hmm.
It's what we're trying to achieve.
I think we are doing it.
Yeah. I think we're one of the first generations to start breaking that glass ceiling.
Yes.
The real glass ceiling.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. This was great. So if people want to go online to find you, where can they go?
Yeah. BiohackingBritney.com. BiohackingBritney is on all of my socials as well. And my podcast, same name. And would love to connect with anybody who wants to chat more. I'm doing a retreat in Costa Rica. If you want to come hang out with me in Costa Rica, women only. And very much this vibe of like taking a step back from life in order to come back full force. A forced reset that a lot of us actually really need. So.
Oh yeah. Just press that reset button.
Yes.
You know, everything works if you just unplug it once in a while.
Yes, including you.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.